your own.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the September Fall Drivers Meeting. Woo-hoo! We made it through the summer. I also want to thank all the drivers that helped out on Saturday. The clients had a wonderful time. I made in the shade. It's just awesome to be able to get all those clients out and really enjoying the day. So I just want to tell you guys thank you for the drivers that did help on Saturday.
Me too. Thank you.
Yeah, Scott was on call and he was there. So awesome. And also I just want to also thank all the flexibility that's been going on right now. We're down drivers and we are looking for drivers. There is a $500 incentive to get all your friends here to become a driver. And so we have that referral bonus. So I just want to thank you for doing extra clients, different B runs, different A runs. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. And thank you, Whitney and Bretta, for getting those, making sure that routes are going out and putting those together. So thank you so much. I would like to welcome a new driver today. We have Linda. She has started 291. Great addition here. Thank you. And then we have some drivers that have a year anniversary. Mike Myers, who is a community driver that just went out. It's his 1 year anniversary. I already gave him his little pen. But we also have Mary Terry, who is another community driver, but she's out on leave right now. And then we have Ahmed. Ahmed does different things for us here. So welcome, Ahmed, or welcome. Thank you, Ahmed. And there is your pen. Thanks for all you do. So I will be talking a little bit after my green bum talks, but he is going to come and talk about compensation and expectations here at Newtrax, and then I will come back and give a little more announcements.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Most likely our last drill out of this season. That's depressing, isn't it? Right, yes. I have what I consider kind of a dual message today. Some what I think that I consider are very, very good news, and some things that I want to make sure that we get refocused on as an organization. So with that, I'm going to start with just going over a couple of things that I know Dean is going to talk a little bit more about as the rest of this meeting goes on. But we've had what I consider an amazing couple of years with everything that you have all done over these last 2.5 years to get us through what is an unprecedented, difficult time for a transportation company. And you guys have all been amazing to do that. But at the same token, we've realized over the last, I would say, few weeks in particular, that there appears to be a little bit of that mental focus that we require to keep everyone that we're providing transportation to, our citizens, ourselves, and the general public safe on a daily basis. And I think it's imperative that we continue to remember how important it is when we're out there on the road that we don't take what we're doing for granted in any way whatsoever. No matter how long you've been doing this job or if you're brand new at it, you need to always continually be paying attention to those little details that make what we do safe for everyone involved on a daily basis. So that will be gone over a little bit later. But now on the positive side of things, we continue to get recognized by both the general public, the board, and I would say our team of all the amazing things that we do on a daily basis. Yes, I was going to say do. But the transportation we provide, how we've gotten through these last 2.5 years, and not only manage through, but continue to build and grow and get stronger as an organization. And the board recognizes this as well. And one of the things that we talked about a year ago when we did our reviews and performance-based rate adjustments is that we want to give people a little bit more of a heads up and time to understand what that's going to be and explaining what that's based on. So at the last board meeting, the board authorized a 4% performance-based increase at the end of the year in January. So typically that's been somewhere between 1.5 to 2.5%. This year they authorized us to go up to 4%, and that is based on your record over the year, performing your job duties. It includes absenteeism, incidents, pre-trips, speed buses, and all the things that you're supposed to be doing on a daily basis. So that's what Patty and Mike will be going over with you, and Scott, maybe some of the community drivers at the end of the year, and that's what that 4% performance-based wage adjustment will be based on. In addition to that 4% wage adjustment, they also authorized us to do another 50-cent base increase to your wages. So you get the 4% along with another 50 cents. And to remind those of you that have been here for quite a while, what that means is since the start of 2020, the Newtrax base wage has increased from $13.25 to $17.50 an hour. $4.25. $3 or 32% increase over that time period. And we continue to work hard to try to do everything we can to keep that coming up. Again, I don't say that saying that, holy cow, your pay is through the roof and you're getting paid extraordinary wages. I know that's not the case, right? But I just want to remind people what we have done and what we continue to try to do to keep those base wages increasing and up. So as of January 1st, 2023, that base wage is $17.50, which means everyone's base wage will increase an additional 50 cents an hour along with that 4% increase. Additionally, what we've been able to do is cover over 90% of healthcare increases, which we're intent on continuing to do this year with the health insurance program. In that 3 years, we've also had approximately $500, up to $500 in driver bonuses that will be paid out. We realized and lobbied to make sure that our drivers are eligible for the frontline worker pay. That will be an estimated between $400 and $500 an employee as well. We've implemented a 403B program that is, as of January 1st, will also be doubling. So those that choose to invest in their retirement, their 403B program, the match that Newtrax provides will double as of January 1st. We also implemented the part-time PTO. So we are working as a group to try to continue to look at ways to improve overall compensation for this group, okay? A couple things that come with that, and a couple things for us all to work as a team to be able to continue to increase that. Some things that have resulted in us not being able to even have a higher than that 4% performance-based wage increase is a couple different items. And one is we have a $50,000 increase to our workers' comp insurance this year. $50,000. That's pretty remarkable. Our workers' comp insurance now costs the organization more than our vehicle insurance does. And as we prepare for the winter, it's one of the things I ask you guys to keep in mind. Workers' comp is a very important for all of us. And sometimes increase are unavoidable, and it's very important to have that workers' comp, and we get that, right? But let's try to do everything we can to prepare ourselves on a daily basis with the shoes we wear, the environment that we're putting ourselves into on a daily basis to make sure we can do everything that we can to reduce the preventable workers' comp insurance claims. Right? Without that $50,000 increase, that wage increase at 4% would be able to be high. The second item is something that I want everyone at this organization to be aware of and to look at themselves and make sure that they're doing everything they can to ensure that we are clocking in and clocking out at the appropriate time. Okay? We're not asking everyone to be policing everyone else, but when we're clocking in too early, or clocking out too late, or on the clock when we are not productively working, Newtrax is not owned by anyone. We are not taking away any money from any owners of this organization. What we're doing is we're minimizing our ability to be able to increase wages and do other compensation-related things. So we, as a management team, are going to be looking at that closer, and we ask each one of you to really do a good job of making sure that we're clocking in at the appropriate time for our routes, clocking out at the appropriate time, and when we are on the clock, we are meaningfully engaged in Newtrax activities. The amount of money that we will save by doing a better job of that allows us to do more for the overall compensation. Okay? So again, this is not money that you're taking from anyone other than us as a little team. So, again, we are not going to be looking back. This is not a punitive. This is not something that we're saying people have been doing this. It's from this day and moving forward. We want everyone to be aware of that and do the best possible job they can in talking in and out at the appropriate times. Alright? Saying that, I hope everyone takes this as a real positive, because it is. And the board sees this as a positive of what we're doing as an organization. To be able to have at the end of this year a 4% performance-based compensation increase along with a 50-cent base pay increase is tremendous. And we're very happy to be able to do that. Alright, but for us to be able to continue doing the type of increases we've done, a 32% increase in the 3-year period, we need your help and your guidance to be able to continue doing this and increasing it even further. So, with that, does anyone have any questions based on those items?
The increase on the workers' comp, is that due to this or is that due to inflation?
It's due to our history. It's called the mod rate, which is their experience history. Our mod rate increased significantly. And again, this is not a blame type of thing, right? We get that incidents happen. When I look through all the incidents happen, some are preventable, many of them is just the nature of doing what we do. Okay? But if we can do the most we can to minimize those preventable ones, those preventable incidents, it will help bring that down and help us save money on that. That means that $50,000, and that would go directly, might be the difference between a 4% and a 5.5–6% increase at this year. And so that's what we're trying to do, and that's truly a daily item. And like I said, understanding the situations we're putting ourselves in, the shoes we wear, working safely, and all those types of things. So, great question, though.
Which pay increase happens first, 4% or the 50 cents?
The 4% is on the current wage, and then the 50 cents on top of it. All right, any other questions? Patty, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. So I am going to talk about focus. Focus, focus, focus. Is everybody focused on me right now? Everybody awake. So first of all, before I start talking about focusing, Letitia wasn't here when I introduced Elvin the driver, so I just want to introduce Letitia. She also is a part-time driver for us, so welcome to Newtrax. So I just want to go over some of the steps of what happens when there's an accident and an incident. And I just really stress. Brady's going to be talking about focusing and wheelchairs, and I just want to, as a manager, talk a little bit about it as well. I just want you guys to know, first of all, how proud I am of each and every one of you to be a manager of such a great team here at Newtrax, because you guys do a lot of good things on a daily basis. You do give good rides, you do give safe rides, and you do care about your clients. So I just want you to know, as a management team, how much we appreciate that. But unfortunately, there has been some accidents and incidents in the last month, and we need to get back on that focus. And if you are in an accident or an incident, after you safely get over to the side of the road, the first thing that you need to do is call into dispatch. I cannot stress to you how important it is to call into dispatch. Because we as a management team need to know what's going on so we can support you guys. So we can call the homes. We can call the senior homes. Because lately, that has not been doing, you guys. And I just want you to know that dispatch needs to know right away. And we have to know. And things need to be called dispatch. Anytime you are not certain, you have a gut feeling that you should be calling dispatch, please call dispatch and just let them know what's going on. We're not all perfect. We all make mistakes. And so I just want you guys to know how important it is to be calling dispatch. And then with wheelchairs, how important it is to get a wheelchair and not help someone else out right away. Communicate. You know, if there's a senior and they want you to grab their groceries or someone's giving you another wheelchair, please just communicate to them that I need to first get the tie downs and safely get this first wheelchair into the right spot. Because it's so easy to get distracted. Because there's a lot going on when you guys are loading buses and when you're out there in this, in the community and ladies and guys are wanting you to take their groceries. We really need to make sure that you take that wheelchair, you finish that whole wheelchair before you help another person out. Mark?
Why don't you limit on groceries, like 4 bags?
I don't know what that limit is, but that's a great question for Scott.
We don't have them.
Okay.
So you yell to bring it on like 20 bags at a time.
And if that's happening, we just need to communicate to those guys that you will help them out after you get your wheelchairs done. Are there any questions on calling into dispatch if there's an accident or an incident? And Ree's gonna go over further how to properly do wheelchairs. And it's like we're up and down, we go a long time, we don't have accidents and incidents. And then all of a sudden 1 month, we get a bunch of accidents and incidents. So I just want you guys to get refocused. Really, it's distracting, you're after lunch, you're driving, and you get tired. So just doing maybe some exercises or doing something before you go out to get your mind back on safe driving and not getting distracted. Any questions on that so far? Right, and winter's coming, and to get all the wheelchairs into your bus, that's fine, but you need to make sure when you get those wheelchairs on that bus, that you're making sure that you're tying down, and then you're going back to the back of the bus, and you're making that sweep through your bus, and making sure that everyone's secure before you go on your way. I mean, it's so important, because I know in the wintertime you want to close up that bus because of all the cold air, and if it's raining, I get that, but you really then, before you start helping out other clients, get those wheelchairs tied down, and then do a second check and a third check, because you don't know how vulnerable it is being in a wheelchair and not being hooked, and you're driving, and the training of seeing some of these wheelchairs go over when tie downs are not, it's not fun. And so I just, I know how many things you guys do well, and I don't mean to be coming down on you, but we really gotta get back on focusing. So, and then Mike is gonna go, any questions on any more of what you should really do if you have an incident, accident, what do you have to do?
Call dispatch.
Call dispatch. Thank you guys. I am proud of the team.
They're before we used to leave the wheelchair down until we were ready for them to come on
So what are they doing?
like, okay, so I got one wheelchair, I'm trying it now, they got the next person,
Okay, we do need to let management know at the site. So please let us know. And one more thing, if you are in an accident or an incident, please don't be confrontational with the other people that are involved. I know your adrenaline is going, and you guys are our ambassadors, and you guys are out there. Just take a deep breath, and ask, are you okay? You might think that they're attacking you, but please just step back. The video's on the bus. We'll review them. We're here to support you. So please don't just start saying things that you shouldn't. Okay, because you guys are in it here at Newtrax. So, okay, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. First off, don't fit my shirt. I had a drill incident, so I sacrificed for you guys. Secondly, to your point quickly, if you guys are having these issues with the sites, they're bringing them up to floor level and either leaving the chairs, they're requesting that we have spotters, and so they need to follow that. So anytime you guys have those issues, please bring it to us and we'll. Okay.
But I thought we used to have all the
And we can have those conversations with the sites going forward. Things that you guys can do too is, in a professional manner, talk to the people that are doing busing at the sites and let them know that you need time to hook these people up. So we can have those conversations. You guys can also, respectfully talk to the staff. I know when I was a driver, I would kind of lay that out to them and say, well, I'm going to be hooking up every chair as they go. So as you bring them up, if it's cold out, pay attention, kind of get used to my pace. Don't bring them out and just have 3 people standing outside when it's cold out waiting for you to close your chairs. I would have those conversations with the staff, just to let them know that this is how I'm going to be operating my chairs and how I'm going to load my bus. So those conversations can come from you guys and just say, hey, I need more time before you start bringing them up, leave them down here. We can also, reiterate that message if we have our team meetings with all the sites that pay and I do on a weekly basis. So duly noted, we'll bring that up to the coordinators as we have these meetings.
The other thing too is, I brought them up, I hooked them up, and they're lowering. So I turn around and one time I was called out of the bus.
Yeah.
Because they lowered it. I'm like, please don't do that.
Yes.
I just turned around and they were there and I was gone. And I tell them I want to do it.
Okay, yeah, and that's your guys' preference. They are trained at the sites to do control the list, but ultimately it is your bus. And if you feel more comfortable controlling that atmosphere, then that's conversations that you need to have with staff and say, I appreciate your help, but for my own peace of mind, I can control that and do that. Because you're going to get a discrepancy, you're going to get the sites that want to do that, and they're trying to do it to help long process, but we get to the group homes, they're not required to do it. You guys are still required to get your chairs up. Make sure you're checking your ambulatory people that they're buckled in. They don't necessarily have to bring them on the bus unless they have some real gate issues and get it on the bus. But you should be checking the ambulatory seatbelts as well. Because everybody has different challenges. So secondly, I just wanted to parlay off a little bit of what Mike was saying about when Patty and I are going to start having these reviews and what your guys' job description is here at Newtrax. And part of that is, like Mike said, is doing pre-trips. To me, pre-trips are a huge thing. That's all part of what we do here as a safety aspect. Our mechanics do a great job keeping our buses in service, but they can't fix things that they don't know about. You guys all, for the most part, drive the same bus every day. That's your mobile office for 6.5 to 7.5 hours a day. So the way that you guys keep it clean, keep it organized, keep your tie-downs off the floor, all those reflect onto you. Because we hear about it if the sub-driver gets in and things are out of place. Our sub-drivers should be able to jump in your guys' buses in the morning, have a full tank of gas, have the bus in order to go do that A run. When I was a driver, I got back from my B run and I knew I was going to be off the next day. I put down my chairs and get all my tie-downs off the floor or in the buckets or on the holders. And sub-drivers could jump in the next day, go to the route and get gas for them. So we want to really focus on that. We want to make sure that these sub-drivers get in here in the morning. We are here. They're a vital part of what we do here. So you guys can have time off and want to make sure that they can get in these buses and go to your routes. And I know that would be much appreciated as a former sub-driver.
Mike, that should work both ways though too. Once you got our buses,
Correct.
put them back the way we have.
That is correct, Gary. And as a sub-driver, you should be leaving the buses as you found them as well. Make sure things are the way that you found it, and so the drivers, when they get back from vacation, should have a full tank of gas and should be able to jump in their bus and go to the routes. So it does work hand in hand. Good point, Gary. So part of that is, like I said, the pre-trips. These pre-trips are more of a safety check. We want to make sure that we are going out in a safe bus. So we're checking that. We're not just going through the motions. We're not getting in the bus. We're pen whipping. We're not doing these. We're not checking them. We have to check these things every day. As these buses get more and more mileage, and it's going to be some time yet before we receive any new buses. So we need to make sure that these buses are safe. You guys drive these buses every day as a full-time driver and as subs. So if you hear something that's out in the ordinary, write it up, get it fixed. It's challenging right now because we're going to be sometime before we get some new buses. So John and the rest of the guys in the shop have to put in extra work to keep some of these buses. We thought they were probably going to retire on the road because we need them right now. And so as they get older, the more care we take with them, the more time we do on our pre-trips, noticing things that are problems and writing them up and get those fixed. But we have to do these pre-trips. These are required by the state of Minnesota and Minnesota. It's not a Newtrax thing. I mean, we need to do these pre-trips every day to check everything that's on that sheet when it's required. It just has to get done. If you got a plug nut that's loose and you leave here with it, it could be catastrophic if you lose a tire on the road. So just please do those. That is part of the go ahead.
There's somebody that is checking the buses that aren't assigned to somebody, like 37, because we put in, as a sub-driver, we put in a slip to get something fixed, and you're gonna do that last because it's not somebody's bus.
Well, they typically get things in when they get the deficiency report. So really, the sub buses are a different animal because that's when whoever's using these from our community drivers to our sub drivers to, if you get it as a sub bus that you guys are knowing those things and we're putting them in, you got to make sure that we're filling that deficiency report out. If you just note it on the DVI, yeah, we don't really see those. You need to know that on the DVI, but you need to correlate that with a deficiency report so that gets turned in, and then we know. Sometimes I see it just written on the DVI, and then I go back, check with John and see if there's been a deficiency report filled out, and sometimes it hasn't. So we got to note it on the DVI and then make sure we're filling out the deficiency report so that we get it in and get it looked at. And it does, some of it does fall on the sub-drivers, unfortunately, because yeah. Okay, well, we'll make a list and we'll get it looked at, you know? So, yeah, a lot of it falls upon, and that's, from a driver's standpoint, that's all you do, if you drive up and you guys aren't seeing it, it's getting fixed, I'll talk to Patty and I, and we'll have those conversations. So, a few other things is, wearing your vest, we're required to wear your vest. You might want to make sure everybody's wearing your vest when you're on shift. If you're not out there driving, you can take them off, but when you're behind the wheel, we need to have our vests on. So, yep. So if you have a fluorescent shirt or something that was issued with the Newtrax logo on it, or like the PA's got, those are totally fine. We just got, you need to be visible. The lot gets dark. We're getting into the winter months here, where even though we have lights, you get into the spots where it's dark, and we want to be able to make sure you're all visible in all the places that we don't set. So people can see it, you can see it on the road. So we need to be aware of those as part of our job requirement. And then just, so those are the things that we are going to take into consideration when we are doing our reviews with the 4%. So just so everybody knows up front what the criteria is to achieve that.
If you take a sub bus and you see that it needs cleaning on the inside, let us know, we'll get Justin to take care of that.
Yeah, before, I know that these sub buses get used a lot for many different things and around the world, a lot more than they used to be with the community events and other things that we're doing now. So if you see a buses during a sub bus, yes, please write that up. Justin will be more than happy to clean that. He does a great job. He's got the knack of doing the buses good. He does a great job cleaning them. Thank you, Justin. Is there any more questions? You could do that. You could let the dispatchers know because they manage the bus claims with Matt. So she was asking if a bus needs to be cleaned, how do we do that? If we write up an efficiency, you could certainly do that. More likely, just a note would do. But Bretta and Whitney, they schedule Matt, and a lot of times they'll schedule him to clean certain buses. So if there's a bus that takes priority, like you see is really dirty, they'll get that one in first and have just clean that instead of going over some of the other ones. Any other questions?
Ball strips,
Yes, most trips are just as important.
When you check post windows and you get the windows open, you didn't do the post strip right. Relying on the
Yes.
post window.
Yeah, make sure the windows are closed, especially in this time of year when bees are getting more active. Make sure that everything's closed up, because once you guys check off everything on here, you sign it and you date it, you're the ones that are saying that you did everything. Now it falls on you. So if something happens with the bus, we start looking back and seeing things. This becomes an issue for you guys now, and things that we got to talk about. So please do the pre-trips. They're very important. Thank you.
Wow, you guys did all of us today. Lucky. So, they just pretty much did my job for me as safety coordinator. But all of the things that they said are so important. And hand in hand, just make sure that you're taking your time, that you're focusing on what you're doing. Don't let people rush you. And I get it, people like to talk to you and everything, and I love it that you guys are friendly to the staff and to the houses, but don't let them distract you. Stay focused on what you got. Do one wheelchair, do it all. Finish it, put the seatbelt on everything before you go on to the next wheelchair. And that includes checking the wheelchair, making sure that it is secured tightly and that those tie downs are at a good spot. Okay? And I know that we just went over how to secure a wheelchair, and for you new people, you should hear it again. You just heard this last week. But I think that we all started getting into a habit, and we started doing it the way we want to do it. I want to explain as we go through the steps why we do it that way, why it's important to do it a certain way. Okay? Doug came up with a very nice little acronym, class. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you want to see is percent of the chair and the securements, right? best way to start off is to get that wheelchair centered completely in the middle of all those pucks. All right, gives you a good start. L, lock the chair. Always put the brakes on. And if it's an electric wheelchair, you're going to turn that chair off. That's including when you get it up on the lift. Okay? Between we load that chair on the lift. Backwards. Even if it is an electric wheelchair, when they come out to the bus, you're going to take over the power of moving that chair and you're going to back it onto the lift. Okay? And then you're going to turn it off, bring them up on the lift, and bring it into the bus. And then you're going to drive it into the spot where it's supposed to be. Okay? A, anchor the chair properly, starting from the front to the back. Now remember, let's say that this is the windows. This is the side of the bus, right? So where are we going to start putting our tie downs on? In the front or the back? We're going to start in the front by the window. Okay? We're going to put that one on first. Then we're going to come around and we're going to do the other side in front.
For me, it's so easy for me. I put it
No, Douglas, you cannot put it there. Well, Douglas, because if you were to put it on this part, I don't know if you guys can see it, the foot pedal, and someone bumped that, now look at that tie down's going to be loose, and that chair is going to be tippy, and it could very easily come over. So you want to find a welded spot. You want to find this welded spot as much as a 45-degree angle as you can. So when you tie those wheelchairs down and you're cranking those and tightening up those tie downs, you're pulling that wheelchair to the floor as tight as it can be. So you want to get that angle. If you get too on the bottom or you get too much in the middle, it's going to make that wheelchair top heavy. The center of gravity is going to be all goofy. So always try to find your welded corners at a 45-degree angle. We never put a tie down on the wheel itself. We don't put it on this crossbow underneath the chair either. That will collapse the chair, or it could collapse the chair very easily. So you always want to find that welded spot. I would put it here. You're not putting it on the axle of the tire, but you're putting it around that welded spot. Right? One more thing. With the pucks, you're going to have outside pucks go where? The front pucks are the outside pucks, right? So the inside pucks go to the back of the wheelchair. Now there's a couple reasons why you want to do that pattern every time. First of all, it's going to train your mind. And it's going to make sure that you're doing that circle around your wheelchair. And when you get done, if someone's talking to you or distracting you, or you go over and you have pretty tight arms on and someone needs help with their seatbelt sitting in the chair. So you go over and humble. And then somebody else talks to you. In your mind, you're going to go, oh, something feels weird. I feel like I'm missing something. If you keep doing that pattern, you're training your brain. So go back and look at your chair. Make sure you're checking. You got all four of your tie downs on. You got your seatbelt on. You're going to check again. You're going to move that chair frontwards and backwards. Not to the side, frontwards and backwards. If it moves at all, go around and tighten those tie downs. See, have a contest with yourself and see how tightly you can get those tie downs. Make it so it doesn't move an inch. So we got our wheelchair all tied down. Whoops, we're on shake. All right, shake the chair forward and backward to ensure that's secure. P is for passenger belt. So your shoulder belt is going to come down. You're going to try to get it as close to the hip or the person at hip level in the chair, right? You're not going to have it against their neck. You want it to come make sure that it's against their shoulder and fits really well. Now, if you have clients that like to be naughty sometimes, and they like to have fun, they like to unput their seatbelt, then just adjust it so that this part here, make it so that you turn it maybe to the side here, have it put back here where they can't reach it. If it keeps happening that they keep reaching around and grabbing it, some of them can get pretty flexible sometimes, let us know. And we'll try to figure out a way to hide that buckle from them so they don't unbuckle it. Okay? So, you're all done putting up your wheelchair. Voila! So you go to the next one, right? Get that one done. All the way. Next one, get that one done. Now you've got 3 wheelchairs all hooked up. You got everybody in your seat. What are you going to do next? What was that? Recheck them. You're going to go get up, go to the back of your bus, and as you walk down, you're going to look, and you're going to make sure that you got all those tie-downs on there. I don't care if you guys check that wheelchair 2-3 times. Just make sure, be positive that all 4 of those tie-downs are on there. You know, sometimes during travel also, those tie-downs can become loose, so let's say you're picking up the next person, again, there's another chance to look and you're going to walk past this wheelchair anyway, double check. Make sure that it's still tight and that it's still secured properly. Okay? I can't stress to you enough, you guys. If you have a wheelchair tip, it tears your heart apart because you love these people, they're your clients. Some of you have driven some of these clients for years, and you become very attached to them. And if they were to fall over and hurt themselves, that's going to be in your brain for the rest of your life. It's going to really tear your heart. So just make sure that if you have a wheelchair tip, leave them there. Don't pick them back up again because you might hurt them further if they have to drop. But call 911 right away. And then call us. Call us and let us give you your support. And we will be there to come out to the bus and help you assess the situation. And we will be there to support you in whatever the next steps are to get through that situation. One more thing I wanted to explain. Do you guys know why we tie down the front of the wheelchair first? Right. The heaviest part of the wheelchair is back here, right? Because that's where all the weight is, and then they put, especially this winter, they're going to put a ton of backpacks and gloves and mittens and boots and shoes on the back of that wheelchair. It's going to make it, if that wheelchair is going to tip, it's going to go over backwards most likely. So, always put these first ones on first, which ensures if it does start tipping backwards, these front tie-downs are going to hold it. And then you do the back last. Same thing when you undo the wheelchair. Undo the back tie-downs first. Just for that same instance that you take those back ones off, if that wheelchair is going to tip, it's going to tip backwards. Well, you already still have these front ones on the front, hooked up. And that's going to support that wheelchair. Does that make sense? So just unhook them the exact way that you hook them up. Oh yes. I just have one more thing.
Hold on to this. Thank you.
While we're getting that, remember, when we're done with the tie downs, get them off the floor. Now, we have been, as a matter of course, allowing people to store them near the wall. The safety committee will be meeting to talk about that. DOT does not like us leaving things on the floor.
Even if they're on the sidewalk.
Even if they're on what we've been allowing. So that's what we're. But we're still finding instances of ones that are in the center of the bus, tie downs there. If it's not to share, it should not be there. It should be on the wall or in the bucket, stowed away, secured. It is a terrible trip hazard for your clients and yourself.
If you have them buckets in the bus, could you secure them from
Yes, those buckets need to be secured. I'll have bungees here, need bungees to secure the buckets in. That's again another thing that we'll be talking to safety committee because we need John's help to get more anchors.
Yeah. Like 257, you got a bucket, there's 2 buckets in there. There's like 20 timeouts. Why is it supposed to be timeouts?
That's something that we can go check out. We'll go check it out and see. There should only be enough tie downs for the amount of wheelchairs that are on that bus.
257 used to be used with 6 wheelchairs. We needed all of those. Every single one in that bucket was used the other day. I don't know why there's 2 buckets. I used to
Yeah,
only
that
have
was
one.
2
We'll go and look. We'll check it out. We'll check it out and count them all.
I don't know if you guys are going to discuss this, but us guys from Metro Mobility, we were trained on scooters, three-point scooters. Are you going to go in on how to lock those up? Because there's tables on those too.
Another great question, Thomas. The safety committee is looking at that right now. Until the safety committee looks at this again, our policy and plan is that someone should not be transported in a scooter. That they should be transported into a seat and the scooter tied down. The safety committee is doing some research to find out best practices with that. And if we're going to update something, we will let you know. But as of right now, that's our plan.
Is there any way that the buses can have those blue straps just in the bus, just in case? Because even though the person gets out, the scooter may, yeah,
We're going to be looking closer at that, and we're also going to do a better job of communicating with the senior programs that we work with what our plan is for seniors. So, yeah, it's something that we've been talking about a lot lately, so it's a great question. We weren't intending to address it here because we know the safety committee did, but that's currently our desire is to not transport someone sitting in a scooter, have them get into a seat, lock up the scooter, secure the scooter, then we don't transport them. So if you get into a situation like that, like Patty and we even say, call dispatch. We don't want you as an individual to have to get into those situations yourself and just call, hey, I have someone in the scooter that does not, that can't transfer something else, can I deny their lock-in, work with dispatch. If dispatch needs to get Patty or we or someone else involved, that dispatch will go.
Thank you. Yes, and as far as these blue straps, every bus should have at least 4 of them in there. So if you don't have any, I have a ton, and I can get some, okay? And just one last thing, do you guys know what this wheelchair is?
No.
It's a transport wheelchair. Can we transport people in this on our bus? No. Why can't we transport it? No leg rest for one. There's brakes on it. What do the wheels look like on this chair? They're tiny. They're very tiny regular chairs are wheels on both ends. A regular chair that you can sit somebody in should have a big wheel in the back and a small wheel in the front. This chair will collapse, most likely, during transport, and it can't be secured securely. So do not, if you get a chair like this, you're going to have to transfer them into a seat when you transfer them. Yes, you should also call or let dispatch know that they're transporting somebody in a chair like this, because we'll need to get a hold of the staff at their house or at Marriage or PI or wherever, and let them know that this is not a valid wheelchair that they should be using. Okay? And we'll give them a different one. Yes, Jen?
I have a question. You say that if they're in that, do we, the driver, transfer them, or does the staff person?
You can ask the staff to help you.
I don't know if it was our responsibility, if they were on stage with us. I don't know, do we have gate belts in order to do something?
We do. There should be gate belts on every bus. And you can use that. Usually if someone's being transferred into a seat, they have their own seatbelt, but if they don't, you can use your own. And you can always call into the house and say, or call dispatch and go, hey, can you call into the house and have them come out? I need help putting this person into a seat. And have that staff come out. I don't want any of you guys hurting your back or straining your back or anything, trying to get a person. And frankly, we're not trained to do that. Okay? Yes?
Also, I did something I didn't know I should not have done. I had sitting in a chair, and we had this, transfer belt, and she had her seat that was tied in knots. I did not see that. And then they had a transfer belt all around her chest.
Yeah,
That was not.
anytime you get those situations when you don't feel right about a chair that's being put on your bus meeting, let us know. Patty and I can make a decision on use transportation. Or you fill out a wheelchair repair request form for your folks. You have a.
To repeat, if you have somebody coming on your bus and for one thing, their wheelchair does not have its own seatbelt, or it has a made-up seatbelt where a couple of belts are tied together. I assume that's what it was.
The transfer belt was all
Yeah.
around her chest.
And their transfer belt was up around their chest. That is something that a red flag should come up in your head, and you should call dispatch and go, hey, something looks weird here. I don't feel safe transporting this person this way. And let us be the bad guy. We're going to be the bad guy for you guys. If you ever have a question in your head that this is not a safe wheelchair to transport, let us know, and we will call into the staff and we will take care of it for you. Okay?
And also, if you think that somebody is like transfer, too heavy, or it's uncomfortable for them, right, what people are going.
Always. If they're really a big, large person and you just don't feel like you can transport them or lift them yourself, don't do it. Don't do it. Get some help and be safe. Be focused on what you do. Be focused on getting that. You want to get that person home safely or to work safely. I got your name on that. And you want to be focused on your own health and safety too. And make sure that you're doing things the right way, the safe way to protect yourself also. Yes, Rhonda?
I've had always said that their staff are not going to come on the bus. That's not their job.
Then let us know that, and we will look into it. What's that? Rhonda was saying that there are some houses that say they will not come out to the bus. Or they won't come on to the bus. Let us know if that's happening, and we will call and have, like Merrick or PAI or whoever they go to, we'll have them talk to the house and see if they can remedy that problem for you. Okay?
And I'm trying to have those conversations with the homes and working out a plan for these folks. If you're struggling with somebody, you need help transporting, because I know that they're challenged with staff, you get that a lot, we're short-handed. I understand that challenge from their aspect too, but everything boils down to the safety of the folks that we transport and your guys' well-being as well. And so if they're big and you need help with that, we need to work out a plan with them. And Patty and I are fine having those conversations with the homes, so make sure if there's any issues like that on the routes that you come and talk to us, we can have those conversations with the sites and the homes. And that's Patty and I's job too as well. So.
I had a question on that. I'm hearing from a lot of sites that how come we don't take the client up to the door? Like I've got particularly wheelchairs. They're telling me, of course I'm a new driver to their site. Metro Mobility does this, how come you guys don't?
The question is that people have been commenting that we're not going door to door. And actually, it's ironic you say that about mobility. We've been talking to mobility about this and about the reason to be going and why they do. It's our concern is there's a safety issue by bringing people up to the door with leaving multiple people on the bus unsupervised by us needing to bring them up to the door. Is we've had incidents where there's been abuse from rider to rider, or the security of the bus with our driver being immediate vicinity of the bus. And so that's what we don't. We are curb to curb, we are not door to door. And I think when we explain that, you leave a bus full of vulnerable adults on the bus without any supervision, there's a potential negative things to happen on that bus. A lot of great questions. I know we're all hungry. Just in closing, we are looking for drivers for some community events this weekend. I think we're going to need about 5 more on Sunday. And if you have already worked 40 hours, that will be overtime if you're working Sunday. And if you're not in overtime, it'll be the weekend, $2.50 extra. So talk to Scott if you're able to work this weekend. We have, as we're coming through for food, we're going to start with 1 brat or 1 burger. There's likely enough to have a second, but let's get everyone through there first. And again, I want to finish with how proud, from a management perspective, we are of this team. You're doing a terrific job. These reminders on focus is just what you have to do in the transportation world. We could not be happier to work with this team of drivers and this group of people. So keep up the great work. A comment that we've received from both the group homes and senior residential staff is the amazing care that our drivers have for the people that we provide transportation for. It's a consistent thing that we hear from homes that we bring people to and from. So you should be proud of that. We're very proud of that. And way more positive things going on here at Newtrax